Hey guys, it's Haley, and I am here to start kind of my first real YouTube video. I had a couple made from my old computer, and it was really like a piece of you know what. So I got a new computer, I got a Mac, and I like it way better, and the quality is way better. And I haven't quite learned how to use iMovie yet, so you're going to have to kind of bear with me. I'm not going to be able to edit this, so hopefully I don't make a complete fool of myself. Okay, so the video that I'm going to talk about today is basically about some spiritual experiences I've had since the passing of my little brother. He passed away in July of last year, and it is March of 2013 right now, so it was about 8-ish months ago. And without getting into a ton of detail, he passed away in a fire. It was a complete accident, and he was a very heavy sleeper and had also been drinking quite a bit, so that contributed to it. So it was obviously very random, and he was my only sibling, so it obviously affected me very, very much. And prior to these experiences happening, I wasn't completely sure about spirits and paranormal things happening. Like, I believed that they did happen, but it was kind of like, I'll believe it when I see it type thing. And so I never really doubted it. It was more of a just like, I don't really know, like, you know, when I see it, like, I'm sure I will be more willing to say that it's real or whatever. So after these experiences have occurred, I definitely am a complete believer. And like I said, I never like doubted it. It was just kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of like I just wasn't really sure. And it's funny because my mom is like such a believer, is always talking about it, is always just, it's integrated in her everyday life somehow. She's always concentrating on it and thinking about it, and so she's really jealous of the experiences that I've gotten because she hasn't gotten any quite like I have. And same with my dad. He's very skeptical about stuff like this. He's very Catholic, so that's kind of his range of beliefs, just typical Catholic beliefs. So he's a little more skeptical about it, like I said. So basically, I grew up, my parents are divorced. I grew up with two different viewpoints on whether or not to believe it, and so that's how I kind of ended up, you know, in the middle, kind of like, I do believe it, but, you know, I've never seen it, so I'm not, you know, completely, like, into it or anything. So that's a little background. So I guess I'm just gonna kind of like jump into sharing the stories. So the first thing that happened was, I want to say like 3 or 4 days after my brother passed away, and my family was over at my house, at my dad's house, where I am right now, and we were just kind of hanging out and remembering James, and people were bringing food and offering their condolences and just stuff like that. And I needed to step away. I got a little bit emotional and just needed to kind of chill by myself. So I came in here into my room and was really, really heavily concentrating on James and that I was sad and stuff like that. So after I kind of had collected my thoughts and calmed down a little bit, I was going to go back out where everyone was. And so I'm walking from my bed over to the door, and I kind of catch a like glimpse of something out of the corner of my eye. And so I look into my bathroom door, and there's a towel hanging off of a little hook, like where you open the cabinet door, and the towel, literally moves a little bit, and I'm still looking at it, and then like the middle of it, picks itself up and drops itself back down. Like, legitimately, like a huge movement. And I just stand there kind of frozen, just like, what? Like, what was that? And my aunt walks into the room at that time, and she looks at me like, Haley, you look like you just saw a ghost. And I was like, well, yeah. And I told her what happened, and she got excited and went and got my little cousin, who was my only cousin, over at my house at the time. And I told her what happened, and we talked about it. And it was super crazy because me and my brother have a couple towels embroidered with our names on them. Like, mine are pink ones that say Haley, and his were blue ones that said James. And it was one of the towels that had James's name on it. So that made it really cool. And so we're talking, and then 30 minutes goes by, and Emily goes into the bathroom, and she sits down, and she says, come show me how the towel moved, because I had told her previous to that. I hadn't showed her. So I start walking into the restroom to show her, to pick it up with my hands and do it. And right as I'm stepping into the bathroom, the towel just drops to the floor. And so that was really neat. It was kind of like I told you so kind of type thing, so that we like both saw it. It was really crazy. So that was the first experience. The second experience happened with my little brother's favorite hat. It was a hat he wore, literally, I don't think he ever took it off of his head in the last, 6 months of his life. He went on, when he passed away, he was 18 years old, and he had just graduated from high school and was going to college in the coming fall. And during the summer, he decided to go on the school trip with his high school and a bunch of his friends to Europe. And that's obviously where so many of our last pictures of him come from. And I kid you not, in every single picture, he's wearing this hat. So it's super, super special to me. And we actually, when he passed away, we didn't know where it was, but his best friend actually gifted it to me and wanted me to have it. And I know that was hard for him to give it to me, so that was a really, really cool thing. So I definitely treasured it, and I kept it sitting on my dresser. Can't see it, but the dresser's right there. And every night I'd kind of just touch it and get his vibes off of it, and maybe talk to him a little bit and just say I love you. And I had a place where I set it and left it there through the night. And so one night I did that, just gave it a kiss, said a little I love you, James, I miss you, and set it down perfectly on the top of my bureau. And I wake up and it's not there, and I look into the corner of my room, and my kitten has a scratching post. It's just kind of like a tall skinny object, and the hat was literally perched perfectly on top of the scratching post. It was so crazy. And I think the way that I kind of work is when stuff like this happens, I'm kind of what could this be that isn't a ghost or a spirit or, something paranormal? I think, could someone have moved this? Could this have fallen from the air conditioning? I think of stuff like that. So, I at first just start thinking, could the cat have moved it here? Could my dad have come in my room while I was sleeping? And obviously none of that made any sense. Plus the scratching post was 8 feet away from the dresser, so I don't think the cat could have knocked it and it perfectly, flipped onto the scratching post. It made no sense. So that was the second event, and that was really neat. The third thing happened with me and my dad, and my brother, and my dad, when we were little, used to every single night pick a movie, and we would all lay down in the TV room or my dad's room and watch a movie together. And we had a couple certain movies that we would usually watch, and they were Harry Potter and the Pink Panther, the Indiana Jones movies, Swiss Family Robinson, Butch Cassidy, movies like that. Those were our favorites. And after my brother passed, this was like, I want to say a month-ish, maybe less, after he passed away, my dad came in my room and asked me if I wanted to watch a movie, and I said sure. You know, we hadn't done it in a really long time. So we picked Swiss Family Robinson, which is a movie my brother, and I watched probably 100 times. So we put the movie in, all the lights are off, we're watching it, and then all of a sudden a laptop turns on, and we both kind of just pretend it didn't happen, and then it starts, you know, making all its noises, and I look at my dad and I'm like, Dad, your laptop just turned on. Was it supposed to do that? And he looks over and he's like, oh, that's James's laptop. I thought it was dead. And I was just like, whoa, that's really weird. And it wasn't plugged in or anything. So we kind of let it do its thing, and then my dad goes and turns it off after a little bit. And then it does it again. And I've seen desktop computers turn on by themselves, but never a laptop, especially when it's dead. I mean, that was very weird. And it was James's laptop. So you see kind of a theme here. Everything that happens, it's never something totally random. It's always something somehow related to my brother. So that's what kind of solidifies just the fact that it's him, and knowing and feeling that it's him. So those happened really soon after he passed away, and the next three things that happened actually have occurred in the last month. Actually, in the last, like, week and a half. They've all been really, really recent. So there was kind of like a big chunk of time where nothing happened, but recently it's kind of started to become more real to me, and I think that's why things have started to pick up again. So the first thing that happened was I was hanging out with my boyfriend over here, and my dad was at his ranch out of town, and we were just hanging out, watching movies, and he was playing with my cat, my boyfriend was, and we decided to go get like a late night snack, and we come back, and we're pulling into the circular driveway, and David looks at me, and he goes, Haley, did you turn that living room light on before we left? And I looked at him, and I was like, no. I was like, are you sure it wasn't on? And he was like, yeah, I was just playing with Mo, who is my cat. He was like, I was just playing with Mo, and I was using the light on my iPhone to find him. Like, it was pitch dark in your living room. And so at first we're just kind of like, oh, like, I wonder if someone's, like, in the house. So we go around with a flashlight and turn all the lights on and look under all the beds and all the closets and check the doors, and everything is locked. There's no one anywhere. And, you know, that light was always plugged in, and so it literally just turned on by itself, and it was so crazy. It was a lamp. It wasn't like an overhead light. And I know overhead lights do that sometimes, but I don't think I've ever seen a lamp do that. Something you have to actually, like, twist to turn on. And what was weird and had to do with James with the lamp is that of all the lamps in the living room and dining room, which are connected, this one had a big picture of James framed right next to the lamp. So, and only a picture of James, so that was really cool. The last thing happened a couple days ago, and I'm sorry, the second to last thing happened a couple days ago, and again, I was at the house by myself, turning off all the lights before I went to bed, and I'm walking from the kitchen into the dining room, and me and my brother have big portraits of us from when we were little, up on the walls, on opposite walls. I'm on one side and he's on another, and we're like 2 years old in the pictures, obviously at different times because we're 2 years apart. And his picture was completely crooked, like that. And if anyone knows my dad, he is like super intense about being clean and organized, and if anything's a little bit crooked, like, he will immediately fix it. So, and having walked through that way, you know, 20 times a day, that was definitely not like that before, so that was really cool. And the last thing that I'm going to share with y'all, it's the most kind of intense. It was a feeling unlike any I've ever had, and it occurred a couple days ago. And basically what happened was I was going to paint my toenails in my bathroom, and I'm sitting down, and I hear kind of like a creak. I get kind of like a feeling, and I look over towards my shower, and the shower is like kind of hard to open. You kind of have to pull. Like, it's nothing that just like opens and closes really easily, and the door just swings open, and as it does that, I look over and I get this feeling of some sort of energy going over me, and it was the craziest. Like, I can't even relate it to anything I've ever felt other than wind, but, you know, wind is just a breeze. This was like a feeling. Oh my gosh. I just got it again. Oh my god, that was crazy. That was so crazy. I swear I just got it again. Like, that exact feeling just happened to me again. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I guess my brother's like watching me film this and wanted me to know that he's here. That was insane. Oh my gosh, my heart's beating so fast, like, it's like pounding. Wow. That was crazy. Okay, so, sorry, I'm kind of like, that really caught me off guard. I've filmed this video a couple times because I kept doing it too long, and that hasn't happened in any time since I've recorded this, so, I hope this one works when I post it. But yeah, so, if y'all have any comments or questions or any ideas for me to, I would really like my brother to keep showing me signs, please let me know. I can't wait to hear back from y'all, and sorry I just got really flustered. I'm still like kind of out of it. I can't believe that just happened. Like, that was absolutely insane. And like, it's just a tingly feeling through your whole body, but it kind of comes from one side and comes over you. And like, as I was describing it, it happened again. That was really weird. Alright guys, I can't wait to hear from y'all. Alright, bye.